Hello, everybody, and welcome back to our channel. Today, we're going to be speaking about this really ugly market in that sea of red. So, is it actually everything is crashing, and will it recover? Well, we're going to go into that today. And if you haven't subscribed already, do subscribe, drop a comment, hit the bell, and follow us for more updates in cryptocurrency news. So, the first one we're going to speak about today is Cardano. I know Cardano has been a lot out of my mouth a lot lately, and it's because it has just been doing really bad. When we look at the daily for Cardano, because right now it's back to $1.80, $1.82, so even less than that. My apologies. It is $1.82, right? So it is not looking too hot. Now we spoke on Cardano a few days ago about exactly how when it hangs in this middle range here, which is still in a descending manner, that if it breaks above the median here, then it could actually kind of start to recover after a while, right? So we were talking about as well is could it actually kind of come up around December, January? Well, it could in a way, but as it looks now, it's not. So it did take another huge pummel. So it's looking very, very bearish for Cardano on the daily. As a matter of fact, even longer than that. So the last couple of days, it's just completely dropped, right? So we had this high, or we had this high where not high, but where we had this jump from like a $2 where it kind of like finally goes, okay, oh great, it's getting better. Yeah, well that was just a complete huge lie, pretty much like the same lie that the wolf told Robin Hood, or I'm sorry, Red Riding Hood. So that's where we're sitting at now. So it's looking very, very ugly for Cardano. So it could potentially go back up, but I would expect it to be kind of close into the spring of the upcoming year. And if that's actually if it continues, if it will break past this continuum of just complete catastrophe, this plane crash, and everybody's freaking out too for Cardano because if you look at the timeline further back, we haven't had such an ugly stint in a long time. When we're looking at Cardano for like the beginning of October, right? So like the beginning of October is just kind of moving sideways, just really, really, really ugly. But what we had is it was giving telltale signs, and this really telltale sign was this ugly candle right here. So it just bled out really bad. So it started to kind of move sideways, and then just kind of started actually just bouncing up and down like a trampoline. So it did have that. That was your first sign right here at the beginning of October. And of course, we also have this ugly candle too, which was kind of showing it out, right? So coming right here. And then it kind of like we got that hope, like just like a few days ago too, that's coming back up that incline channel here. We had that hope, but it just couldn't make through. So we did take that hit for Cardano. For the weekly too, even worse when you look at it this way. The weekly is just like a catastrophe as well. So that's what we have. It is falling. It is bleeding out for the weekly. Very, very, very ugly. But if you're wanting to hold on, it's a good time. And I think if honestly now, if you're going to buy into Cardano, it would be a pretty good time to buy in. As long as it's about like right here, it would be like perfect because I think eventually it will at least kind of break back over here. Now, the last like really time that we had that huge low was right here back in July. That was really ugly. That was the last low that we had, and that was kind of sitting at a buck, at a buck each, right? But now it is like at $1.80, and so that's the last time. So it looks like we may, if we're lucky, if it can kind of bounce back up, at least get to the median of this downfall, then you can kind of expect it to kind of rise a little bit. Speaking on Bitcoin too, Bitcoin is pretty ugly for the day. Recall it as well that Bitcoin is going to start to decline more, and that's coming from exactly where we were talking about how it's going. If it falls, it can be around 57, 56,000. Right? Everybody's thinking that it's going to go up to like 100 grand, which that would be perfect. But right now, and what we called was like 57, 56, and even maybe 55,000. And right now, we're not far away from it because Bitcoin, as of today, it sits at 59,000. So it's kind of showing that pattern that it is going to kind of go down a little bit at least. It's going to come down to here, like how it was back in September, right? And it was in September, it was like 40 grand. So being that, it could still potentially fall, and then we're going to need to see, because it is bringing all the other coins down with it right now. But if people will bail out more for Bitcoin, and I think right now they're starting to kind of get a little nervous, and that could really push these altcoins, especially with the new releases that's coming out as well. For the week for Bitcoin, Bitcoin is very ugly. That really, really ugly candle right here. You can see it. So pretty nasty, especially compared to, I mean, it's the equivalent to this wonderful green candle, but it's pretty bad, right? So last week we reached a new high. This week we kind of took that hit from it. Also, Ethereum is also looking pretty ugly because like yesterday it completely like fell off the hinge, right? So today is sitting at around 39, about 4 grand today. So 4,100 it's sitting for Ethereum. So it's not too hot and it's still bleeding out. So it's pretty good. We were doing really great for a really long time, but it could potentially go back up too, and you just need to kind of watch. So it still sits at number two. But it's a good time to buy too if you kind of miss that. If you miss that mark back here in September as well, if you miss that, then if you buy into it now, and I think it will go back up, maybe not as quite as high as it was, and maybe higher, but it could actually kind of take some actually pretty good profits. So looking very bearish too. So nothing too great to speak about on it today, but it has that same similarity as it was back to differently. We had that back in May when it kind of fell off the hinge too, so it did drop, and it looks very similar, right? Do you see when we're comparing the two from the past couple of days? This is looking very similar to the same. Even as the incline was pretty similar, it is the same here too. So it could potentially go up now. It did take some time, but it is what we have now. For the Ethereum weekly, we have it also the same because it took that hit, right? That same ugly mark. All right. For Solana too is also kind of coming down. Not the greatest thing we want to see, right? So still kind of dropping in. So sitting at $212 too. Not the greatest. And so it is looking pretty ugly as well. And we hope to kind of see it. So it's sitting at $212 as well, kind of following it out. But I would expect to see it. So for the week, we have the same thing. And when we compare Solana, for example, to like Ethereum, you can see that Ethereum is actually kind of on the same wave here. So it has potential to go up just the same. XRP is also taking the same hit. The same thing. You see this pattern, how it's like red candle, red candle, red candle, right? It's the same deal here. So everybody's kind of following Bitcoin at this moment. But in other news, so Ethereum-based payroll tool Sablier expands to Polygon and Binance Smart Chain. Now, compared to Ethereum gas fees, the launch of Sablier on Polygon will reduce gas fees for users by an anticipated 676,750%. Now, with the Sablier deployment on Binance Smart Chain will lower gas costs by more than 12%. So gas fees reduced by several thousand%. So we also have Sablier's primary usage is coming in the form of token vesting for teams, as the Ethereum gas fees have limited additional uses. Now, a strong community demand has coupled with elevated Ethereum gas fees prompted the Sablier team to explore alternative options for users. So the newer crypto use cases, right? So the growth of the cryptocurrency market has paved that way to new user cases, as more than 46 million Americans now own crypto, which is really great. And another 50 million expect to purchase crypto soon. So as digital assets continue to become more commonplace in distributing salaries, and cryptocurrency is a crucial next step towards mainstream adoption. Now, with Bitcoin becoming a legal tender in El Salvador and major cities in the Miami considering paying employees in crypto, it is crucial that efficient, cost-effective, and user-friendly tooling infrastructure is the place to support such endeavors. Now, Mstable was a very early adopter of Sablier and have trusted the product of Team investors, Team tokens, allocation, and even DAO salaries. Now, that was commented by James Simpson, and that was the founder of Mstable. Now, Sablier on BSC and Polygon will enable users to access their great product without the friction of the high transaction cost. Now, the Polygon bridge can be used to move assets over to Polygon, and the Binance bridge can be used to migrate funds over to the BSC network. So that's very good. Great news. And let's look at the market just a little bit. Just going to give you some news, right? So Bitcoin, right, sits at 59 grand. 24-hour period in the red, 2.28%. And for the weekly, 10.60% in the red as well. Ethereum, the same pretty much. So 2.92 for the 24-hour period in the red and 10.92 for the weekly. Solana is kind of like not doing so hot still too at 5.77% and negative 10.89% as well. Still pretty ugly. You see what they all have in problems for the week? And this is what you can see. So even with Bitcoin, 10%, Ethereum, 10%, Binance is sitting at 11, almost 12. The only one that's doing like okay for the weekly is Tether at like 0.05%, right? Cardano is 17.48 in the last week in the red, and on the daily it is minus 5.98 as well. XRP 13, and Polkadot is in minus 22.89%. So it's looking very grim. Practically smelled death. So you can see from that. But Dogecoin, Shiba, Avalanche, Litecoin even took a hit for the week at 14.52%. Chainlink, Binance, right? All of these coins, Polygon's at 15%, so they all have that descending line. So it could potentially kind of jump up, but we are sitting in the crypto winter now. So just kind of hold tight. Axie Infinity as well at 10%, but for the daily it is up 0.086%. So that's a good plus, but you can see just this really ugly red. I mean, it's practically blood, as you can see. All right, guys, that's all we have today. Hopefully everything will go back, and I am pretty optimistic and positive on it. So just hang in there, subscribe, hit the bell, get the notifications, and drop a like as well and a comment. All right, guys, thank you for joining me, and I will see you guys next time.